Hello and welcome to another Excel tips video. I am Sumit Bansal, and in today's video I am going to show you some clever things you can do with the name box in Excel. Now name box is mostly used to create named ranges, but there are some cool things that can be done with it. So let's see some examples. Before I show you some of the cool things you can do with the name box, let me first tell you where it is and how to make it visible in case you cannot see it. So the name box is here on the left side of the formula bar. So there is this strip, and in this strip we only have two things. One is the formula bar, which is on the right, and this is the name box, which is a small box where you can click and you can type anything. You will see a cell reference already there in the name box, which is the cell reference of the active cell. So if I select any cell, you are going to see the cell reference of that cell here in the name box. Now you can change the width of this text box by dragging these 3 points and putting your cursor here and then dragging it on the left, on the right. So you can change and resize it. In case you do not see the formula bar and the name box, you can go to the View tab in the ribbon and make sure that this formula bar option is checked. If it is unchecked, then the formula bar goes away, and with it the name box also goes away. So if you check it, you would be able to see the name box. Now let's see a couple of examples of the things you can do with the name box. The most common thing that people use name box is for creating named ranges. So in this case, I have these names in column A and I have the sales values in column B. And what I can do is I can give a name to any cell or a range of cells. For example, let's say I want to create a name for this range so that I can then use that name instead of the cell reference in formulas or anywhere where I want to refer to this range. So what I'm going to do is select this range of cells. Then I'm going to go to the name box here and I'm going to type the name. You can also use the keyboard shortcut Alt F3. So when you do that, it automatically takes the cursor to the name box. Now here I'm going to type the name of the named range that I want to create. In this case, let's call this sales data. Now when you are creating the name, make sure that there are no spaces in between the words if you're using more than one words. So you can either use a nomenclature like this, or you can use an underscore between words so that it is going to be considered as one continuous string. Now when I've entered the name, I'm going to hit the enter key, and as soon as I do that, that's it. The name has been created. Now I can use the name sales data instead of the cell reference. For example, let's say I want to get the sum of all these values. So instead of now referring to B2 to B10, I can just type sales, and see when I'm typing it, it is going to show me the name of the named range that I've already created. And I can just use this name, and when I hit enter, it is also going to give me the result. So instead of using the reference, which would be hard for you to remember in case you have multiple references or a big data set, you can use these names which are more descriptive and easier to use in formulas. You can also quickly get this data. So for example, if I come here and I type sales data and I hit enter, it is going to give me the same data here. So this name has now been assigned to this range, and then you can use this name instead of the cell reference. You can also assign a name to a specific cell. For example, let's say I'm creating a commission for all these sales rep, and let's say my commission here is 5%. So instead of remembering that this is going to be 5% in case it keeps changing, then instead of using this cell reference, I can come here and I can maybe type the name commission. So this name has now been assigned to this cell. So for example, now if I come here and I want to calculate the commission for each of these people, I can simply use this name commission instead of remembering that the commission value is in cell E2. Now this is a very simple example. In this case, you may think that this is only one cell reference, but if you're working with many of such cells which have many different values, let's say commission for this year, commission for some other sales department, then instead of using these cell references, you can use these names. Also, when you create a named range, it is created for the entire workbook. So if I come to another sheet here and I use the same named range, I can still refer to the same data in any worksheet. Now, if you want to quickly look through all the named ranges that you have created, then you can do that by using the keyboard shortcut Control F3, and when you do that, it opens the name manager. You can also get the same thing if you go to the formulas option here and then you click on the name manager. And in the name manager, then you can make changes. If you want to change this reference to some other cell or some other range, then you can do this. So the most important and most used function of name box is to create named ranges. You can also use the name box to quickly select any cell or range of cells in the given worksheet, in the active worksheet, or any worksheet in your workbook. For example, let's say I want to go to cell B12. Now, instead of using my mouse, I can come here and I can type B12 and hit enter. And as soon as I do that, it is going to take me to this cell. Now, it may be easy for me to select B12 here, but let's say I want to go to a far off cell. Let's say I want to go to cell L43. So instead of manually dragging my cursor and going there, I can just come here and I can type L43 and hit enter. And as soon as I do that, it is going to instantly select this cell. Now, this could be useful if you are working with a large data set and you want to select specific cells or specific rows or columns. Then you can just come here and type that cell reference. If you want to select more than one cell, let's say an entire range, then you can type that range here. For example, let's say I want to select A1 to B10, then I can come here and I can type A1 colon B10. And this is just the same cell reference that we use when we are referring to a range. So when I type this and hit enter, it is going to instantly select this entire range. Now, if you want to select more than one cell, let's say I want to select B12 and D12, then you can come here and you can type B12 comma D12. And when you do that, it is going to select both of these cells. See what happens as soon as I hit enter, it is going to select both of these cells. So if you want to select more than one cell, you can use comma. If you want to select more than one ranges, for example, I want to select, let's say A1 to B10, but I also want to select D1 to E10. So I can do that by typing A1 colon B10. So that is my first range, then comma D1 colon E10. And now when I hit enter, it is going to select both of these ranges. So this is quite useful if you are, let's say, want to apply formatting to specific ranges. Then instead of doing it manually by selecting these ranges or cells one by one, you can do that in one go by just putting these ranges in the name box and then selecting it. Now, I said that you can also go to other sheets. So for example, let's say I have this sheet 2 here, and I want to navigate to this sheet. So what I can do is come here and I can type the name of the sheet, and then with an exclamation mark after the sheet name, I would just type the name of the cell reference so that it is going to take me to that sheet, to that cell. So in this case, let me just go with A1. And now when I hit enter, it is going to first find sheet 2 in this workbook. So it will going to take me to sheet 2, and there it is going to select cell A1. See what happens as soon as I hit enter, it takes me to this sheet in cell A1. Similarly, if you want to select a range or multiple ranges in another sheets, you can do that as well. Also, if you want to select some ranges in sheet 1 and some ranges in sheet 2, again, you can use the comma separator, and then you can have the range reference, then comma, and then the range reference of some other worksheet. Another thing you can do is if you want to select an entire column or an entire row, then you can also put the reference here. For example, let's say I want to select entire column B, then I can come here and type B colon B. So I do not have any numbers, which means that I want to select the entire column. And now when I hit enter, it is going to select the entire column here. If I want to select, let's say, multiple columns, which is, let's say, B to D, so I want to select B, C and D, I can just come here and type B colon D. And now when I hit enter, it selects all these columns. What if I want to only select column B, D, and let's say F? Again, I can use the comma. So I would say B colon B, comma C colon C, comma F colon F. And now when I hit enter, it is going to select all the columns I entered. So I entered B, C, and F. So you can select continuous columns or non-contiguous columns as well. Same is the thing that you can do with rows. So if you want to quickly select far off cells or ranges or multiple ranges, the name box can be really useful. Another thing you can do is if you have already created named ranges, then instead of using the range reference, you can just type the name of that reference. For example, in this case, I had already created this reference called sales data. So if I want to select it, I can just come here and I can type sales data, and now when I hit enter, it is going to instantly take me to that range. So this is another quick way where you give a name to your range or a cell and then type that name range in the name box. Another thing you can use the name box for is to quickly know the number of rows and columns that are there in the selected range. For example, in this case, if I select this entire range and I keep the left mouse key on my mouse clicked, you will see that the name box says 10 rows into 2 columns, which means that the selected range has 10 rows and 2 columns. So this could be useful if, let's say, I want to create a template and I want to highlight 10 rows and 3 columns. Then I can quickly do that by looking at the name box, and as soon as I've made the selection, I would know that there are 10 rows and 3 columns in this range, and I can highlight it, or I can apply a border to it, or whatever I want to do it. So this is, again, not a very common use case, but a good to know feature. This is a name box trick I have learned recently, and it would be useful for you if you work with VBA macros. So what I'm going to do is open the VB editor. So I'm going to go to the developer tab here and then click on Visual Basic. You can also use the keyboard shortcut Alt F11. So when I click on Visual Basic, it opens the VB editor in the backend, and I have these demo subroutines in the module. Now, obviously, these are demo ones because I just want to show you how it works, but you can have more meaningful macros that does something. In this case, I've named them test1, test2, and test3, and they do nothing. They just show you a message box with the macro name, but you can have a macro that actually does something for you. Now, if I want to go to, let's say, test2 macro and VB editor is not open, then I would first have to go to the developer tab and use this, click on Visual Basic or use the keyboard shortcut, then go and find that macro, and then I can change it or edit or run it. So instead, what I can do is I can just come to the name box and type the name of the macro, and as soon as I hit enter, it is automatically going to open the Visual Basic editor and take me in that macro. See what happens as I type test2 and hit enter. It knows that there is a macro called test2, and it has taken me and put the cursor within that macro. Again, if I close the VB editor and I come here and I type test3 and I hit enter, it is going to instantly take me to that macro and put the cursor here. So this could be useful if you have a lot of subroutines in your modules and you want to quickly go there and change something. So this is one trick that I have recently learned, and I think I'm going to be using it a lot more. And one final thing that you can do is you can insert a shape or a chart or an object and then use name box to give a name to that object. For example, if I come to this insert tab here and then let me insert a shape, let's insert this shape here. Now, when this is selected, I can go to the name box and you'll see name box already has some name for this shape, and you can name it. For example, let me name it run test2. And now when I hit enter, it is going to name this shape run test2, and I can refer to this using this name here. For example, if I am somewhere in the worksheet and I want to quickly go to this shape, I can just come here and I can type run test2, and it is going to instantly select this shape. Similarly, you can have many shapes. You can also do it with the charts. For example, if I come here and I insert a chart, so let me select this data and let me insert a chart. Let me insert maybe a column chart. Let's resize this a bit. So what I can do is I can name this chart. As of now, you can go see in the name box, it says chart 2. I can come here and I can call this sales chart. And now when I hit enter, this is now named sales chart no matter where I am. If I come here and I can type sales chart and I hit enter, it is going to instantly select this chart. You can also click on this arrow here in the name box, and when you do that, you will see that it shows you some of the frequently used names that you've used. In this case, it is sales data and commission, which are the named ranges that I created earlier in this video. So I created commission, and if I click on it, it is going to instantly take me to cell E5, which was named commission. Or if I click on this drop down and click on sales data, it is going to instantly take me to this range that was named sales data. So you can also use this drop down that is going to show you all the named ranges that you have created, and then you can quickly select the named range and go to that cell reference or that range reference. So these are some of the amazing things you can do with the name box. I hope you found these tricks useful, and if there are things that you know that I've not covered in this video, please let me know in the comment section, and I would love to learn from you. That's it in this video. Also, if you're liking these videos, please subscribe to this YouTube channel and click on the bell icon so that you never miss out on any new Excel tips video I come up with. Thank you and have a nice day.